which is kind of counterproductive. My name is Lynette. I've wanted to be a homesteader for over 25 years, and I'm finally getting my chance. I'm in my late 40s, I have some physical challenges, and no prior experience with farming. I follow the cycles of nature and the 13 full moons that span nearly every single year. Welcome to 13 Moons Homestead. This year was the first year that I've had a full-size garden, pretty much ever. I've had some potted herbs and tomatoes and peppers over the years, and I had a small garden a long time ago, like 2 decades ago, but it was not nearly this size and not even close to this scale. So this has been really a learning experience all the way around for me this year. I've learned a ton of stuff working on this garden. I learned that I'm actually pretty good at seedlings, growing plants from seeds and getting them started. But I also learned that I really do need to start that on time. Just because of the state of the garden beds and the greenhouse this year, I couldn't get them started and then get them out into the garden in a timely manner, so they all came out a little bit late. I still got a lot of fresh produce from the garden this year, but I would have gotten more and gotten it sooner if I had gotten everything out on time. Another thing I learned this year is that I need to study a little bit more about fertilizer and what individual plants need. This year I used a basic balanced fertilizer, and I pretty much just used that on everything because I just couldn't learn all of the things all at once. So that's what I had and that's what I used. I did also add a little bit of bone meal here and there in places where I thought that it was needed. I've learned more about all of that stuff already through the year, and I know that I can definitely do a better job of that next year. I also learned that I really need to do better with mulching. This year I really didn't plan on mulch in the garden beds for anything, and for the most part I didn't use any. But I did use it with the potatoes because I thought it was necessary, and I also used it with some plants that I felt were drying out too fast just because of where they were placed in the garden and the sun was hitting. And I learned by watching what was happening around those plants that really they do much better and the soil does not dry out as fast if I use mulch. However, the only thing that I had available for mulch this year was straw, and I'll never do that again. It does fine as a mulch, but it also sprouts, at least the straw that I got. I don't know if it's possible to get seed-free straw at an affordable rate, but it just grew, whatever kind of grass it is, it just grew and sprouted all over the place. So I don't really want to do straw again, but if that's all I have, it is still better than no mulch. I'm just going to have to weed the beds more, which is kind of counterproductive. This year has been a fantastic teacher about placing plants also. Because the garden came together in pieces, I didn't have all of the beds available at the same time. So pretty much whatever beds were available, the plants that needed to get out the soonest went into those beds, no matter where they were placed. Next year I'll be able to do a better job. All of the beds are available, and hopefully I'll even have a few more small ones. So, and hopefully I'll also be on time getting my starts going. So next year I really want to plan better. Now that I've watched over a full spring, summer, and getting into fall now season, I know better where the sun hits and for how long during each day, because it's not even over the whole garden. Next year I really want to place plants more thoughtfully according to what they're sun needs are and their heat needs are, and hopefully have an even better turnout than I did this year. This year I also experimented with quite a lot of varieties of peppers and tomatoes and potatoes and beans and everything, which I always intended to do that the first year so I could learn better what grows here well or what doesn't. But what it ended up meaning is that I got some harvest off of most of the plants, but not all at the same time, which if you just want it for fresh eating, that's fine. But I was really hoping to do some preserving, and it meant that I didn't really get enough of anything at one time to really make whole batches of anything. So even though I grew cucumbers, I never had enough to do more than just a quart of refrigerator pickles at a time. So I ended up purchasing pickling cucumbers from local farmers to do my batches of pickles and relish, which was fine. But next year, now I have a much better idea how many I need to grow myself in order to do the kind of batch of preserving that I did this year. The same thing with tomatoes. First of all, I learned that Romas are prone to blossom end rot, which I didn't know ahead of time. I just knew that they were supposed to be good paste tomatoes. And what I found here is, or at least with my inexperience, not only were they prone to blossom end rot, they're also really, really small fruits. That could have been because they went out too late. It could have been because I didn't fertilize them right. I'm really not sure, but I do know that I'm going to try a different paste tomato next year and see if I get a better turnout. I knew going into gardening that I was going to need raised beds in order to accommodate my back and my knees, and I was right. And these raised beds served me pretty well this year. But I also learned that I really would like them to be even a little bit taller. I don't know if I'll be able to do it before next year, but I would like to add another foot to their height and get some more compost and garden soil to fill them in before next year if I can. I just think I'll be able to do even more and do an even better job of it if I have to bend that much less. So I'm sure I'll learn a few more lessons this year as I go through my first fall season with a fall garden, and I'll add those lessons to my notes. But for now, with the lessons I've already learned, I've been going through seed catalogs and purchasing seeds wherever I can find them as soon as they become available, and being more selective about what varieties and how many varieties I'm purchasing. Next year is still only my second year. I'm probably still going to do some experimenting. And also I really want to expand the garden. There were things I just didn't even grow this year. Like I really never did any herbs. I really want to have both culinary and medicinal herbs in the garden. And I know better now how I want to preserve foods and which foods I really want to have for fresh eating through the season. So I think I'm doing a better job this year of ordering seeds. So I've been getting packages through the mail of seeds that I've ordered, and I'm still ordering some, and pretty soon we'll do a video, I think, showing you what I have and how I'm organizing them. That's all I've got for you today. Blessed be, friends. We'll see you on the next video.